recently Sonic has had hit or miss titles over the year, 2022 was Sonic at his best. The second Sonic movie introduced Tails and Knuckles on the big screen, Sonic Origins repackaged the Big Four sprite-filled games, Sonic Frontiers had the Hedgehog travel in open world, and Netflix released their own Sonic series. Needless to say, Sonic had a huge year, bigger than big. The only Sonic media I talked about in 2022 is when I reviewed the second Sonic movie. Whenever I rewatch a movie, my opinions usually change, whether that be I think the movie improved on the second viewing or gotten worse. Sonic 2 is the rare case of it not improving or getting worse whatsoever. I wanted to go deeper in my original review, but the movie had only been out for a whole day. Now that it's almost been a year, I think it's safe to go deeper into the movie. Tails is by far my favorite Sonic character in the entire franchise. He's just adorable, and I love his simplistic yet unique design of his two tails. With Sonic, they just made my man's blue and called it a day, but with Tails you get two tails for the price of one. The voice actress from the recent games reprises her role, and I appreciate that even more than I did originally. I follow her on Instagram, and without a doubt, you can tell Colleen was thrilled to return as the voice of Tails, instead of being replaced by a celebrity doing an imitation. That's not to say that Idris Elba doesn't do a knockout performance as Knuckles. You can tell he's having a blast playing the naive, war-stricken Echidna. His line delivery just oozes with fun. So many moments, especially near the end of the movie, where he teams up with Sonic and Tails is hilarious to hear.
Think about it. I live rent-free in this dude's head, so I go out there and rile him up.
He'll focus on only you, leaving himself open to a flanking maneuver from me and the Fox. Hedgehog, you are a brave and noble warrior. Go to your certain death with honor.
We're gonna have to work on your pep talks, pal.
Just chilling, watching TV. Dot, 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 dot.
He's not the dumbass from Sonic Boom, but he has a heart. He's just naive and trusts people all too well. When the three team up in the final battle, Knuckles rocking the shit out of robots, Tails zapping them with his gadgets, Sonic spin dashing, it took me to the days of when I came home from school, got a jelly sandwich, and played Sonic Heroes on my PS2. As a sequel, it builds upon the original, and I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot like over half of the things that happened in the original. I remember ugly Sonic and Chip and Dale more than I remember Wade. Seeing Wade back in the sequel made me realize, oh yeah, this really is a second movie. None of this is a negative, it's just nice to see my boy Wade again. There are nice attempts at emotional moments in the movie, especially when it comes to Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Hearing them relate to each other or listening to their backstories is really sweet. On a movie standpoint, it's cliche, it feels like it needed to be there, but it's heartwarming because it's three popular video game characters finally on the big screen together at last. There is one moment specifically where Tails is sleeping and uses his tails to cover Sonic from the cold that made me audibly go, "Aww." The bonding between all three characters is really adorable and gives this movie an upper advantage on the original, which was just Sonic. Still shocking that this movie is 2 hours long though. There is no reason for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 to be 2 hours long. This movie has a subplot with Donut Lord at his sister-in-law's wedding, and it turns out to be fake. The groom was a secret agent the whole time, so while Sonic and Tails are knocked out, they handed the script to Tyler Perry and said, let's see what you can do for 8 minutes. I kid you not, if there was ever a chance to use the bathroom, then this is the perfect time. I am convinced this scene was made just so kids could run to the restroom and not miss anything. This could have easily been cut and been replaced with Knuckles bonding with Eggman but slowly realizing that he's not who he seems. Or you could have touched upon the fact that Sonic probably killed Eggman, like he straight up murdered him.
Oh, it's like that? Okay, we're not friends. Later, hater!
Or you could have added my boy Wade. Well, you could have added more Wade.
I'm done playing games, pal. You're gonna tell me what I want to know. And I am asking you, for the last time, what would you like on your bagel?
Overall, Sonic 2 is a major improvement on the first video game movie. Sonic Origins consists of the 4 original games in the Sonic the Hedgehog series, 1 through 3 and CD. The only one of these games I've played in the past is the second one when I was really little. I'm gonna go through all 4 of these games and give my 2 cents on them. Sonic the Hedgehog, the one that started it all. Hearing that Green Hill music as soon as you spawn in gives such a nostalgic feel. Sonic controls well enough and it's all extremely charming. It's such a good game during that first zone. Now before you kill me, hear me out. This game has a lot of nostalgic and fun charm to it, but zones like the Labyrinth are a joy kill. They are incredibly frustrating and ruins the momentum of the game. Overall it's okay, but I would be lying if I didn't say there were zones better than most, as in the first zone is a blast and everything else is just subpar. The music makes up for most of its troubles though, or maybe I'm just not the best at Sonic games.
What?
Let me just go back and get some coins real fast. Okay. Sonic CD was the step up though. Despite the clunky time travel shtick, it was a lot of fun and the sprite animation has improved greatly on Sonic. I really enjoyed the final level where you have to face Metal Sonic. It was difficult but highly rewarding in a satisfactory way when you finish. Sonic 2 is such a huge improvement of the original, absolute iconic zones that are all fun to speed through. As a kid I didn't know how to hang on to Tails, but now that I figured it out, it's extremely helpful. Except for some moments where Tails is as useless as a regular fox who was just born. The backgrounds are extremely beautiful and the music is top notch. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles, now this is a Sonic game. One issue I have with the previous games is it punishes you for going fast, unless you have godlike reflexes. Now in Sonic 1 I'm like, whoa! Sonic 3, I'm going, woo, yeah! The sprite animation is top tier, the zone music may not be as memorable as previous entries, but the spectacle of the levels make up for it. The 3D effects in this installment still hold up well. The game is bigger and grander than the previous games. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is amazing. It just still can't beat Sonic Mania though. I consider myself a casual Sonic fan. I haven't played a lot of the titles. You know what, in fact, here are a list of Sonic games I've played. Sonic 1 through 3, CD, Mania, Sonic Riders, Riders Zero Gravity, Generations, Sonic Forces on Stream that one time, Unleashed, and the Adventure series.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
Wow, I've actually played a lot more than I thought I have. But out of all the games, the most time I spent playing during my childhood was Sonic Unleashed. The night and day segments don't mesh together exactly well, but as a kid the story was rich and it kept me going back for years. I got it on the PS2, couldn't beat it, then the Wii, made it farther than my previous attempt but never beat it, and then I got it on the PS3 and finally defeated it, and I was thrilled to non-belief. Sonic Frontiers brought me that same feeling I had as a kid when I played Unleashed. It may not be the best Sonic game, but it's the most fun Sonic game I've ever experienced. This game was a thrill ride from beginning to end. For Sonic's first open world, it does more great than it does bad. You can zigzag, you can do a cartwheel and speed into a dash and do a roll around. You can fish with Big the Cat. There's no need to fast travel because Sonic will get you there in 15-second tops. You can do a bounce a boing into a spin loop. You can do Tetris. You can rope a dope an enemy, slingshot yourself into a robot like a sumo wrestler, and that's barely half of the game's mechanics. Sonic Frontiers is a game that truly makes you feel like Sonic, if you don't mind me quoting that from IGN. The voice acting is great and different from the rest of the series. I love the more mature aspect of Amy no longer being smitten by Sonic and becoming her own character. The zones are a lot of fun to 100%. The bosses do take a while, but the scope of them are grand and engaging. Sonic Frontiers isn't flawless. It's not perfect, but in terms of pure fun, it's one of the best Sonic games of all time, and a dash in the right direction for Sega. I didn't grow up with Sonic Underground. I did grow up with Sonic X and the abomination that is Chris. Remember how the whole show is about Sonic and Team trapped on Earth, and the one time they have a chance to make it back to their homeworld, Chris selfishly closes down the portal, causing Sonic to stay with him? Like, I know kids are selfish and bratty, but holy shit! Sonic Boom is good for what it is, a meta hilarious take on the series.
You guys are gonna want to check this out! We're not falling for that. It's the oldest trick in the Jungle Predator book.
I've been meaning to read that book. How is it?
Not as bad as the movie. Studios should stop recycling the same tired old properties and make something original for once.
but Sonic Prime is made by Man of Action, the Ben 10 guys. I'm talking Ben 10, not that one. Sonic Prime has some slick and nicely executed action scenes mixed together with stellar animation for a Netflix show. I love Sonic's run design, how the show doesn't explain elements like why he needs rings, it treats fans as if they're already familiar with everything. The only problem I have with the show is that it's thematically repetitive. Sonic goes to another dimension, fights with the other versions of his friends while really focusing on one of them, they make up, and he gets transported to the next world. It gets tedious, but it's still entertaining seeing Sonic travel in world and world, where it's a robot dystopia, where Big wears pants, then Tails is a feral animal, and Knuckles is a pirate captain. It's intriguing seeing all the different versions of Sonic's friends and how he plays off of them. Sonic gets a new voice actor, and he sounds like Roger Craig Smith, but makes it his own. He still has that spunky attitude in his voice, but whenever he delivers emotional moments towards his friends, it's when he really shines. Sonic Prime is the best Sonic show I've watched, and I can't wait on what happens next. Honestly, all the 4 major Sonic installments that came out in 2022 made for a very solid year. The first open world Sonic game, a collection of all the original games in widescreen and brand new cutscenes, Tails and Knuckles debut on the big screen, and a new show that gets almost everything right. 2022 was a super year for the Blue Blur.